Hi Dragon Trainers! I am Dice, if you don't know me. This video is about, it's not a developer log because I'm not a developer. I'm not one of the creative members over at Dragon Federation, but I'm lucky enough to be able to hang out on most of our lore and story calls. And a lot of people have asked that these be recorded, and they haven't, or some of them have been, but not all of them have been. So I thought I would try to start doing like a weekly video, which is going to be very boring. It's just of me talking. So if it's easier to hear instead of read the notes, then this is a great option for you. You can set the phone down. You do not have to look at this the whole time you're watching this video. Yeah. So let's dive in. I'm going to start with what the tools for Dragon Federation, the experience, look like. So you purchase an egg, which is a collectible item. Each and every one is unique. They're not exactly perfectly the same. They are similar. They are within theme of each other, but it is considered a collectible item. It could be a talking piece, however you want to design that, frame it. That's completely up to you. But they are considered a collectible piece according to Dragon Federation. The next thing is you have the AR experience. AR is augmented reality. You will need a phone capable of a particular augmented reality. I'll go over that more later when I just go over the mobile app. And then the next thing is the VR experience, which is virtual reality. You would need either you'll need for sure a virtual reality headset. Some headsets are unwired, where it's all within the headset alone. Other headsets are within wired headsets, which would require you to have a PC with a minimum spec. So when people ask about the VR, they go, okay, well, what VR? So currently the team has come out, and the goal is to tailor it to the Quest 3, which has just recently released. I believe it is a wired headset, which means that there would be minimum specs on a computer expected. But the ultimate goal of the team is that it's system agnostic, but they're going to tailor the experience to the Quest 3. Currently, so with every iteration of the VR headset, just like an iteration of, say, Xbox, the newer sets have better graphics, better computing power, better processing power, and in this case with VR, they have different tracking abilities. So some VR headsets, you have to be in a very, very bright room. Some of the newer headsets, you can have like a lit room just like how I have. It's not super bright all over the place, but you can see, right? Specifically with the Quest 3, as I understand it, just very minimally, because I'm not a VR headset expert, is that there is extra tracking capabilities for your hands and things that some of the other systems don't have. So kind of like with the I think it's the newest iteration of the PlayStation VR, where it tracks your hand movement till you go behind the headset. Like it'll track it from, because usually your little trackers are on the front of your headset, as I understand it. I could be wrong. But usually it's towards the front of the headset, and so when you come to this point, it loses tracking of your hand. As I understand it, the PSVR, it's supposed to track until you go behind your head. It's got some little sensors kind of facing like this way. So when you go behind your ear, you get lost. But that's more tracking than other headsets might have. So as I understand it, there's better tracking with this one. Because of that means certain inputs will be placed that maybe won't work on an older headset. Again, the goal is that it is system agnostic, but with this experience, I guess the best way to compare it in my mind is that black and white TVs didn't cost much back in the day. And then colored TVs came out, and so the black and white TVs were cheaper. But if you wanted to see in color, you can't do that on a black and white TV. some techie's going to get on here and get really specific with me. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not a specialist in these things. So, this whole experience, it gives you a physical egg, which is a collectible item. You have the augmented reality, where it's essentially an ultrasound into your egg. There is some plans for stuff after hatching, but it's not going to be the same as the VR experience, because phones just can't do the same thing as the VR. Phones are getting pretty close to doing similar things to a computer, but they still don't have the exact same computing power. My phone does not have the same amount of space that my computer has. That's just a fact. So there are plans that the mobile app will work after hatching. And then you have your VR experience, which is a virtual reality experience where you will feel like you're actually there. You're actually touching your dragon. You're actually interacting with your dragon. Your dragon can make eye contact. As I understand it, that's one of the big things with the Quest 3 is that it has eye tracking ability. So as that gets reiterated and made better, more and more likely you'll be able to look your dragon in the eyes and it will look right at your eyes. So I want to dive in a little bit with the mobile app. So Dragon Federations mobile app is primarily, in the lore, is a little window into the realm. The realm is where the dragons live. And so what that means is that your mobile app works as an ultrasound device, and then later it works as like a little, maybe like a drone monitor. They're still kind of ironing out these ideas, but essentially it's not going to be the same thing as you being in the virtual reality realm. It'll kind of work like if I was having this video call with my dog, right? It's not the same thing as feeling like I'm there. So your mobile app, while your egg is an egg, works as this little ultrasound device. So you'll be able to see your dragon go from a little dragon bean, as our testers have called it, little zygote, and form into a full dragon before it hatches. You'll be able to monitor heart rate. Its eyes will open and close. It will move. It will react to sound. You'll be able to play a lullaby for it. It has an option for you to actually talk to your dragon, and depending on the level of your voice, or maybe the activity, it will react to that. That's really, really cool to see. One of the things that is being implemented as of last lore and story that we found out is that our dragons, they can die while in the egg, which previously Dragon Federation had said would not happen, but they've had to retcon that because the mountain skulls have this tendency to have a very, very hot internal temperature. It's why they live on ice caps. It's why they live in high altitudes, is to help kind of control that internal temperature. And the eggs aren't capable of controlling that themselves, so they need some outside help. So it'll be our job, for those of us who've purchased eggs, it'll be your job to keep it within a certain temperature. Now the app will tell you, there will be warnings that your egg is reaching too hot or too cold. And you can go in there, there will be buttons where you can warm it up or cool it down. Because their atmospheric temperature is sensitive, so it's based off of the weather and the barometric pressure in your area. That will help influence it. But I was able to, during Lauren's story, I did ask, like, how quickly does this happen? We actually had another member, wonderful individual, who asked, like, if I'm at work, is my dragon gonna die? So there are no rapid changes in the egg. It should take days for your egg to boil itself, because that's kind of the problem is that they can't cool themselves down. They get too hot. So Unfortunately, the eggs can die. They're not completely safe, but it'll take days for it to die, essentially. Again, any of these things can change before official launch because it hasn't hit official launch. So until official launch, wow, sorry, I'm having a hard time with the word launch. So until official launch, anything can be changed. This is how it is until further notice. There is a vacation mode planned. One thing that Dragon Federation has made very clear as one of their goals is that they want every decision to come with consequences. And consequences can be negative or positive. In this case, a vacation mode, it'll keep your dragon alive, but it might not keep it in the exact temperature range you want. So one thing that we found out is that with the mountain skulls, their biological sex is influenced by the temperature, sort of like the example used was crocodiles. So if the nest is a certain temperature, the eggs are a certain temperature, they'll either be born male or female. And that's similar to the mountain skull, or the mountain skull is similar to that, however you want that worded. I don't want to offend anyone. So yeah. So if you, at first none of us are going to know the exact formula to make a male or a female, but people will start figuring that out. So if you come along later and you're like, I want it to be kept at this exact temperature, so I know for sure I'm getting a female or I'm for sure getting a male, and you go into vacation mode, that vacation mode is not going to take that into consideration. It'll stay alive. So we also found out that there are 3 classes for the mountain skull. So there's the fire breather class, there's the armor tank class, and then there's a high altitude flyer class. I haven't found out more information about these classes yet. They will influence like weight, size, coloration of your dragon, but we haven't found out specifically what that looks like. So part of controlling that is also going to be controlling the egg. Now again, at the very beginning, none of us are going to know 100% on how to do anything. I think that could change. Because a lot of it is meant to be left for us as members to be able to experience, as dragon trainers to experience and figure out and then share with others if we choose, or quietly sabotage. No, please don't sabotage anyone. That's not nice. So with the temperature control, part of that can be like, oh, maybe, and I'm just using an example, so maybe fire breathers need it to be warmer. And so you'd want to keep them on the hotter side of things. Or maybe the armored tank needs to be kept colder, so we'll keep the egg on a colder point of view. Now again, those are just examples. That's why that vacation mode, you'll want to be very specific with how you handle that vacation mode or not. With that said, Samson did inform us that the eggs are plane friendly and they go through TSA without much trouble. You'll just be stopped by every TSA agent asking you about it. So free advertising. But yeah, they are plane friendly. Samson has gone on a plane many times to go meet board members or other groups to get financial backing, and has taken an egg with him. So they are TSA plane friendly. Just expect a little bit longer of a wait time with TSA agents. So plan, if you are taking your egg on a plane, plan for that to take some time. And that was kind of the main things from the meeting. There was a marketing manager's been hired. The animation pipeline was designed. They're hoping to do VR testing early in 2024. They're plugging the egg life cycle for the egg. And then they're going to run another AR app test. So the egg is supposed to take 90 days, but they're going to run an app test where they've sped it up into a 30-day cycle so we can see, so those testers can test the life cycle. How does this feel? Obviously, it will be sped up to fit into 30 days when it should normally be a 90-day cycle. So there will be another bout of AR testing. Hopefully that comes out soon. It was said to be 2 weeks, but so did the previous lore and story. Love Samson and Dragon Federation. Always hopeful with those ETAs, but do understand that they are almost always ETAs unless you receive an email that says otherwise. It's just an estimated time of arrival. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks, a new batch of AR testing moves into the beta testing, which is just how does this feel as opposed to find everything that's broken. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on. I'm hoping to this week make a couple of different little videos, and then hopefully after that it's just like a once a week upload of what was talked about in lore and story. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're at. Please stay safe.